and welcome to your reading for July 2021. So this is going to be a pick a pile reading. I would like you to take a moment for yourself right now. See which pile speaks to you the most. I'm calling in spirit, I'm calling in our spiritual guides here to really help us with the messages we need to hear for the month of July 2021. So I'm going to give you a few moments now to see which pile speaks to you the most. So I'm going to be starting with the Smoky Quartz crystal today. So this is a reading for the Smoky Quartz. You can see that lovely Smoky Quartz there. So for the month of July for you guys, it's going to be really interesting in the way of healing, of getting a lot of healing energy coming up here. So what you're going to be facing, I believe, for the month of July for a lot of you, is that you're going to be wanting to go and make some really brave choices for your life path. And you're going to be probably facing a lot of stuff in that you've already faced before, similar types of choices and decisions, but they're going to be coming up in the month of July and you're going to have a few choices to make. So in order to move forward, what do you need to release? So I feel like a lot of you need to release some emotional stuff this month in order for you to take those steps forward, especially with the waning moon present there. So we see the snow in that card, and you can see the cold, but it's a beautiful card to behold. So beautiful things can happen when we release stuff that we no longer need. So a lot of people believe that, oh, I'm over it. I'm over that old stuff. Like I'm over what happened to me 15 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. But what we do as people is we tend to bury it deep within ourselves. And so we don't open up that box, because when we start to open it up and we start to take stuff out, what happens? We get emotional, we get hurt, and all those old feelings come back again. But when we tend to push it down and push it to the side and not deal with it and just forget about it, the healing can't happen, and therefore we can't take those steps forward in our lives. So we've got the Nine of Wands here. The Nine of Wands is all about the barriers we build and in a way to protect ourselves. So this person here, we can see here this woman, and she's got that beautiful big barrier of protection, and she has all the power within herself here too. You can see there with the stick and the fire that is there that she's holding on to, but it's not being able to be utilized because she's built this wall of protection. All she needs to do is take down that wall of protection, and you can see that it's quite flimsy, right? So it's easily moved, and then she can take those steps forward. So for the month of July for you guys, the first 2 weeks, I feel, is going to be a lot of old stuff that comes up. So be brave and face it, because you can face it. And here, you can see here with that fire within herself there, all she needs to do is recognize that power within herself. So that's going to be really important for the first couple of weeks of July for you guys, is to find that personal power to be able to face some old healing that may need to come up. So here we've got the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups here, this is a beautiful, beautiful card. I love the Page of Cups because it's got a sense of fun to it. You can see here with this beautiful page is that he's just having some fun. He's got the fish in the cup here. He looks really relaxed, and he's got some colorful clothes on as well. And he's such a light-hearted fellow. But what he tends to do is he puts his whole heart into things. So when we see this reversed here, this tells me that a lot of you here have put your whole heart into things. So like relationships, work, jobs, careers. And what has happened is that something has happened and has hurt you. So this is all about reclaiming that sense of fun and enjoyment and being able to be open with your heart as well, especially when it comes to like relationships and things that you really want to do. It's okay to open our hearts to these new experiences. So that's what's really important about the Page of Cups here. It's reclaiming some of that beautiful youthful energy. So when you think about children, when they go off and they play and they're having fun, right? And they're not thinking about the consequences, and they'll go and they'll do things actively. They'll go and try dangerous things as well. And it's like, well, that's fun and exciting. But what happens throughout our lives is that we tend to hurt ourselves. So what happens is we hurt ourselves, and what do? We don't go and do it again because like, oh my goodness, I was hurt from that. So this is all about being brave and being brave enough to go and have some fun and relaxation as well, because I'm sensing here with this reading is that some of you might be caught up in your responsibilities as well. So you might be really bombarded and overwhelmed. So this is a month to find that sense of fun and enjoyment again. So what can you do? What can you release? What pressures can you release from yourselves to really find that sense of fun again and to play as well? So that's going to be really important. Co-create. So co-create. So this is a really beautiful card as well. You see that the cheetah up here, and then we see the owl as well. So we can see here, we've got a tightrope and an egg. So when I see this cheetah looking at us here, and it's like, am I going to go onto that tightrope or am I going to fall down as well? Am I brave enough to go and do something really tricky actually as well? So we see the egg here, and that's the birth of something new. But that cheetah has to go and do something that's a bit of a challenge, and the owl represents wisdom as well. So you can achieve wisdom by going off and doing something that looks scary, that looks challenging, but then we get the birth of something new. What do we know about cheetahs? Cheetahs go really, really fast, right? And they go so fast at things, but this tells me here that the cheetah needs to slow down. So take it a step at a time. So you don't need to go bull at a gate at something for something to work. Step at a time. So this also tells me here too that the cheetah used to run at things in the past, and when it didn't work out straight away, the cheetah gave up. So this is all about going the distance as well. So really taking some clever steps forward, some really thoughtful steps forward to achieve the wisdom that we desire, and then we can birth something new. So, whoops, I just jumped that. It fell out of my hands there. So that is really important with that card there. So how do we eat a cake? One bite at a time, right? So we don't need to go full ball into something to make it work. Break it down into bite-sized pieces for yourself. And if it doesn't work straight away, don't give up as well. Nothing worth fighting for is going to be really, usually it's just not handed to us on a platter, right? So we really need to work at it, and sometimes great things just take its time. So that's really important to know. So here I've got here the Nine of Cups in the reversed position. You can see this woman here springing off a ledge. So here we go, have a look at it better here. And she's jumping up and all her cups are in the air. So she's taking a leap of faith here. So it's telling me here that you guys in the past would go and leap at the things you really wanted to do and you'd put your whole heart into it. So this is very similar to the Nine of Cups here. And you'd put your whole heart into it. But what happened? You fell. And then all the cups fell as well. And all the emotions, all that beautiful heights of emotions fell as well. So this is about taking a leap of faith again. So this will be very, very important for you guys is to trust that it can happen for you. Really, really trust that it can happen for you. So this is telling me here for the month of July, this is all about going for your dreams. So those dreams that you've been thinking about since you were a child, stuff that you really wanted to do, but you put it on the back burner and you had every excuse under the sun why you couldn't do it as well. So this is the reading about realizing that yes, you were hurt in the past. We've got the Nine of Swords here. Yes, you were hurt. And then here, we've got all the collection of the thoughts here. This is all the dark thoughts that we tell ourselves and that we get overwhelmed by. And this is where at night time, I feel like for a lot of you, that the thoughts come. It's like overwhelming, like it's like, oh, I can't do it because, you know, this and that and this and that. And normally it happens when we're having bad dreams in our sleep and stuff as well. And this is where a lot of the old wounding comes up that needs to be sorted through. So we don't need to let this overtake us, these dark thoughts. This is all about, also with the Eight of Cups, releasing, releasing, releasing. So this is telling me here there's a resistance to moving on from old hurts. What is preventing you from moving on from old hurts? So we've got the Moon here too, that's the signal of emotions. The cups are a real symbol of our emotions as well. So what is it that needs to be left behind? So that's going to be very important for the month of July. Also, I've got here the Seven of Swords in the reverse position. So this really tells me here that you are the middle sword, and we've got other swords here trying to really influence it as well. But it's like this is all about intellect, communication, and it's also our power in the situation as well. So this is really realizing what is it that you need to put your energy towards. I really believe this with this card for this particular reading. We can be very influenced by other people and what they say about us, what they think about us in the world as well. But this is all about realizing what is worth putting your energy into. Where does your mental energy need to be put to? It needs to be put to something, I feel like for a lot of you, something more worth your while. So I'm feeling like a lot of you are putting your energy towards stuff just to get done on a daily basis. So things that just need to get done, need to get done, need to get done, right? But then we get a collection of stuff that just needs to get done all the time. So then that becomes our lives. Oh, I just need to do this because I need to do this, and then it becomes like, oh yeah, I'm just completely bombarded with my responsibilities and I've forgotten what it is that I really want to do. Now, this is telling me here a leg up. Ask for help. I feel like a lot of you have some support that you can draw on that you're not actually drawing on at the moment. So this will be very important for you, is to ask for help into the direction you want to go. So I'm seeing here the snow. So this is really interesting here because I find this is beautiful actually. The snow in both these cards, and this is telling me here that even though we can feel cold and feel like we're left out in the cold and that we're all alone, something beautiful can happen in what is seemingly really, really hard and challenging. Something beautiful can happen in that. Sometimes what we need to do is ask for help. A lot of the time our ego can get in the way, and we take pride in a lot of stuff that we do, but our egos are like, oh, I'm fine, I don't need help, I'll get through this, I'll just get through it. And then you start to think, I'm just getting through the days, I'm just getting through the weeks, waiting for the weekends, waiting for that next exciting thing to happen. And what happens is we end up waiting for the most of our lives. What it is that are you waiting for? Why do we postpone our happiness? We can make something happen for us now that makes us happy and joyful. We can go and do those things. And what is stopping us? All of our excuses stop us constantly. So this is very interesting for the month of July for people that have chosen the Smoky Quartz. Ground that energy for yourselves. Make some really good, clear decisions. Think about the long-term view. And also temperance. This is all about helping ourselves become in balance with everything. The earth energies in that card, the water that represents the emotions. This is all about the balance here. And it's also about looking after ourselves. Right at the very core of it, are you looking after yourself, your health and well-being, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being? This card encapsulates it all. So that is very important for people that chose the Smoky Quartz. So thank you so much for listening to this reading. I hope some of you resonated with the meanings for this month of July. And thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. So this is a reading for the rose quartz crystal. You can see that lovely crystal there. Rose quartz. So very interesting for the month of July for you guys. This is a month of thinking about your goals, where you see yourself in relationships in particular as well. So some of you that are single, that are dreaming about that perfect man, the one that is going to just walk in like the knight of shining armor. Like the energy for this particular pile for this month is all about the dream, especially with the Knight of Cups. And we've also got the Page of Cups here too. So very, very similar cards here. So one has got a very youthful energy and one's got a bit more of a mature energy. So this could be men that are in your life now, or it could be representative of yourself as well. So this is all about that beautiful type of relationship that we dream about, like in those romantic novels, those historic ones where the man just comes in and essentially saves the woman as well. So she's swept up in this beautiful, financially burden-free relationship and she just feels so safe and secure. So this is telling me here that some of you might be waiting for that perfect relationship. So waiting for that man to come along and essentially save you. And it's like, he's just going to come in, he's going to have his roses, he's going to have the horse at the picnic, and he's going to just come in and he's like, here I am, I'm waiting for you. I'm going to make it all better for you. And this is also the energy of this card here, could be representative of a relationship that you got into and he seemed perfect in the beginning, but then you started to see his faults, because when we see this card in particular, it tells us, is the Knight's energy helping or hurting? And this is where we go, like, he may be incredibly romantic with you and just totally take you on lavish dinners and stuff, but then later on, what happens? You find out that he's got credit cards that are maxed out, and he's being very irresponsible about his emotions and how he spends his money as well, because he can become very emotionally involved in things, and he can be hurt easily as well and can be lashed out through hurt. So this is someone who's incredibly emotional that could be in your life, or if you're a single person, someone you're dreaming about. So especially when we see the Nine of Cups as well, the energy of this is very much about dreams, dreaming, lofty ideas, thinking about, oh gosh, you know, I'm going to throw my heart into this and I'm going to throw my heart into that and not think about the consequences as well. So this is very interesting for this reading because we're thinking about dreams and we're thinking about that perfect relationship, and sometimes when that's not achieved in your current relationship, that sense of perfection, but like what is it that is actually beautiful about your relationship is we think about perfection, but what about the imperfections of the person as well? We've got to love everything about that person, especially when we're thinking about our plans, future goals, those lofty dreams. Are they achievable as well? Because that's very important to see in this card as well. Are your dreams attainable? So that's really, really important to see. So here we've got the Queen of Cups energy here. So this is also, this reading is dominated by cups. So it's a very, very emotional reading that we have today. So we see her in the reverse position. So the Queen of Cups here is all about that beautiful, compassionate energy. And she's very, very much in control of her emotions as well. So she's very aware of herself and very aware of what makes her tick as well. And she knows where to put her emotions, and she knows how to hold back when she needs to as well on certain situations. So she's very much in control of herself. But when we see here in the reverse position, it tells me that there's a sense of unbalance there. So if I think about you guys as the Queen of Cups, you may be feeling very unbalanced emotionally at the moment. So when you were feeling nice and balanced and serene, but this tells me there's things that have happened that have tipped the scales a bit for you. So especially when it comes to relationships and stuff, so you may be feeling unbalanced emotionally and you're not feeling very secure about your future and what's happening with it. So that's the energy of the Queen of Cups card in the reverse position. So this also is interesting here. I feel something in the way of children as well, because when we see this card here, we can see there's looks like little kids, like little mermaids, or in this card here. And this tells me that there's something about children, the energy of children in this card, and there could be something happening there in the way of children and how it's important to you, but you're concerned about having children, or time is ticking by, or what could happen to the children if you're in a relationship that is not stable at the moment as well. So this could be coming up for you in the month of July. I do see here time to go. So some of you might be reaching a point in relationships where it's time to go. And it might be that it's been weighing on your mind for a while. So this is important to really think about, is when is it right to go and when is it right to stay. So that's important to see here in this card. So when we see this, and it's beautiful here, we can see the fairy and we can see that she's walking towards a door, but she hasn't really kind of made her decision yet about whether she's going to actually go or not. So this might be something that comes up for you, is knowing when to stay and when to go. Sometimes this card can just mean it's starting to think about what is best for you right now. What's the decision that you need to make right now for your relationship? And it might be that it is okay to stay and keep fighting, but really at the end of the day, what is the right decision for you? And you can only answer that. It's up to you. Okay, so here we've got here the Hermit. So major arcana card here of the Hermit. The Hermit is the seeker. The Hermit is finding his way and he's looking for his purpose. So some of you might be feeling like that you're a bit lost at the moment and you just need some time out to think about what it is that you really truly want. The Hermit is someone that you can see here, he's quite big in regards to all that is in front of him. He's looming over his obstacles and he is lighting the way in front of him one step at a time, and he's able to overcome them one step at a time. He is taking his time to search for what he wants. So the energy of this card is about, it's okay to take your time in searching for what it is you truly want. And sometimes we need to think about our ideas of what we want and what it is that's going to make us happy on a daily basis, what's going to make us comfortable on a daily basis, and being really real about this as well. And being honest with yourself, what you want to see in your daily life, especially when it comes to the way of relationships, the way of your goals, your dreams as well. It's very important to really differentiate what is attainable and what's not attainable, and that it's okay to take some time to step back and search for it as well. So the Hermit is taking some time for himself. So this is about that card of standing tall on your own and that self-empowerment that comes with it as well. So some of you might be really surrounded by people all the time, and it's like we can get very overwhelmed with other people and what they want and what they want to do and their opinions about stuff. But the Hermit is really taking some time out for himself, and sometimes we need to clear the noise, so to speak, to hear ourselves and hear our thoughts, and not think about what is going to essentially save us. You know, like that perfect man, so to speak, it's like the perfect man's going to save me. So this is about really saving yourself. The Hermit is okay with being on his own. So that's very, very important there. He's okay with being on his own. He doesn't have to have someone there to make him feel secure. He's okay to go and be soul searching and looking for what it is that he truly wants. So some of us that we look for relationships and we think, oh, you know, the ideal one, oh, this looks good and that looks good. So really we've got to be very realistic about it. So here, this is where it comes into your dreams need a practical plan. So we've got Taurus there, the earth energy. So this is about grounding the energy for the month of July. So especially we've got a lot of cups energy happening there, but we need to ground the energy for the month of July and make some really good practical decisions. So sometimes it's really important to do that. So when we think about grounding ourselves, I think about the root chakra. So this is grounding the energy. So sometimes we can be operating up here high with our third eye and our crown, and we can think about all these amazing ideas, but for the month of July, this is about grounding that energy, and that's going to be really important for you guys. So think about what it is you want, but on a practical basis. So really grounding the energy. So that is, and especially with the cups, it's that emotional energy as well. So we're seeing a lot of emotion here. So sometimes what happens is we can get ruled by our emotions as well. So 9 of Cups here, the wish come true card. So this is not what it's all about, is just having the wishes, the dreams come true. But this tells me here too, is that what is it that you wish for? Because it looks like you're going to be achieving it through the month of July, but is it what you really want deep down? What looks good on the surface, and it's like, yes, I did this, but then reality hits, and it's like, oh, okay, now I need to move forward with it. Oh, I don't know, this is originally what I wanted, but do I want it now? I don't know. So this is about thinking forward into the future, long distance as well, and going, what can I see practically happening in the future for me, and am I formulating that for myself? So here we've got Judgment in the reverse position too. So Judgment is all about the reckoning, so to speak, and releasing a lot of the stuff that's old, and being honest with ourselves as well. So when I see it in the reverse position, it's telling me here that you need to be honest with yourself and honest about some of that stuff that you may be holding on to that needs to go. Because in order to move forward, we need that ultimate release of the emotional stuff, that doesn't need to be there, and we're ready to face up to our healing, our wounding. We're ready to be truthful, we're ready to be honest, and we're ready to really be raw, and that really raw honesty in order to move forward. That's what judgment is all about. We're ready to accept the judgment of what we've done, our past, our actions. We're ready to own up to things as well. Like, so that could be going and telling the truth to your partner, people that love you, and that, and saying, well, this is the truth, and I thought you should know it. And it can be such a release when we do that. So this is about being honest with ourselves when we see this card, and being honest with the people around us. So that's very, very important to see there. When we see justice as well, so I'm seeing that in the reverse position here too. So this tells me that justice hasn't been served on a few things. So these are very, very similar cards in the way of being truthful and honest. So what is it that you need to do to be truthful and honest with the people in your lives? Because justice hasn't been quite served there. So there needs to be some stuff to be unpacked. So it could be family, friends, things, relationships, people around you that you may be holding on to stuff that needs to be released in order to make yourself free of that guilt and that emotional burden that you could be carrying around. So that's important to see there. So all in all, for that rose quartz reading, it's a focus on relationships. It's a focus on reality. It's a focus on what it is that we want in our lives, but are we being realistic about it? Are we trying to, are we getting lost in the fantasy of things and not really seeing the reality? Because that is the energy of that reading today. And truce as well coming in. So, you know, really resolving some emotional stuff, hurts between you, your friendships, people around you, really resolving a lot of that. So this is about that beautiful compassion, the love energy, loving the imperfections, loving what's real. So that's important for this reading. So thank you so much for listening. I hope some of you resonated with this today. And thank you so much, and I'll be talking to you soon. So this is a reading for that clear quartz crystal. See that lovely clear quartz crystal there? Okay, so we've got that beautiful clear quartz energy, which tells me a lot about that clear way of thinking and really releasing the fog this month for you guys in the month of July. So here I've got the Seven of Cups. So this is very interesting to see that here. We've got overflowing cups here with the overflowing of emotions. And it feels like some of you might be overwhelmed by your choices this month in the month of July. And you're like, I could do this, or I could do that, or this looks good, or that looks good. And you could be feeling really overwhelmed by your choices, basically. So this is a month of really thinking clearly through your decisions and going into a little bit of an analytical state of mind and analyzing and weighing up your options. So I'm seeing the scales here. So when I see this with to be fair, so this is really interesting card to see here, because this is about the balance here. So weighing up the options of what looks good. We've got the fortune cookie here. We can see that there. We've got the egg on the other side as well. So it's like, oh, my dreams. I could be doing this. I could be doing that. And then on the other hand, it's like the birth of something new, but you're not seeing it as well. And it doesn't look as amazing as what that other option looks like. So this is about being practical and weighing things up. When we see this card here in particular, being very, very, really taking that step back and thinking about your decisions. So that's very important for the month of July. Now, also here, it's going to be really good because when we're thinking about decisions, so I think a lot of you have got some decisions to make this month, especially in the way of like work, and also buying and selling things, like with housing as well, and businesses and career opportunities, also in the ways of study as well. So I'm really seeing that with the Hierophant here. So the Hierophant is all about the teaching, the learning of something new. It's also about the group as well. So when we think about the group, we think about our workplaces, we think about people like in classroom environments as well, where there's a lot of learning and teaching happening. So I feel like some of you are thinking about like doing some new courses or study, and you're thinking about your work and how to progress through your workplace as well. So there's a lot of stuff that you could be up in the air for you, and you've got a lot of decisions to make. So when we see this card here, not for you, you can see that card there, and we can see the fortune cookie here too. So this is an interesting card to see because we've got a chess set with the white and the blacks on the opposite ends of each other, and they're going to have a match together. So this is about that battle in our minds here too. So that overwhelming of the emotions of the mind, the thoughts of the mind. But what happens here in chess, right? So chess is all about strategy. It's all about thinking ahead in order to win. And it's really being very mindful of the opponent and what they could be doing as well. So there's a sense of competition in this card as well. So I feel like some of you could be against some competition as well in regards to going for some jobs, or there could be purchasing of new things as well. So you're really having to think strategically about what you're going to be doing next. So that could be something really important when we're overwhelmed by our emotions here, especially with the Seven of Cups. And it's about thinking strategically through your options, and really taking it a step at a time and thinking about what will happen if I do this, or what will happen if I do that as well. So that's in chess, you're thinking about what the opponent could be doing here and what the opponent could be doing there. So really thinking about that and breaking it down, and not getting overwhelmed by it as well. So thinking about things one step at a time and breaking it down for yourselves. So when we see here with the Hierophant, and we're thinking about the learnings, the teachings, and we're thinking about the future here as well, and this is the card of really progressing through and learning new things. Now, I feel like for some of you here in your workplaces, especially when it comes to like going into courses and making the decision about your career stuff as well, there might be some barriers happening for some of you, because I've got here the Seven of Swords in the reverse position. So you can see here, this is someone here that is being incredibly naughty, and they're taking something and they're running away, and they're trying to take, and they're trying to be they're trying to go unseen as well. So this is interesting here, because this could be someone in your life that could be taking from you, but you're not seeing it yet. You're not seeing who this person is that is not making you feel very confident in your decisions, and they're taking away your sense of confidence to make decisions. So if you've got someone that is negatively influencing you, it might be time to think about your relationship with this type of person and how they're being reflected in your lives right now, and whether you can lessen that type of energy in your life, because sometimes we don't recognize when people take away our sense of confidence, because when this is the only reason why you might be feeling really overwhelmed by your decisions is because you've got someone there that is really taking away your sense of confidence. So it's really time to think about how you can think more positively about your decisions, have that self-empowerment too, to really make some good, clear decisions, especially with the energy of the clear quartz here too. Clear thinking, time to get rid of the fog out of your life so you can really make some nice, good, grounded decisions. Because I feel like for a lot of you, you've got some important ones to make for the month of July, and you need to be able to take away some of that fogginess so that you can really see what it is you can practically make work too. So we can go for our goals and go for the things we need to do. We can think really strategically about what it is we need to do and in order to take those steps forward. Now here we've got, with the first quarter moon, your commitment is being tested. So that's pretty amazing to see. So I feel like with this, seeing this card, is that some of you know what you want to do, but you've been so emotionally overwhelmed that you've been on the track, off the track, on the track, off the track, and you haven't been able to dedicate all of your time to this, the dream that you've been wanting to achieve. So this is about really being invested, making that commitment, making that long-term view too, making those long-term goals real for yourself as well, because it can happen if we're really, really organized about how we want to progress and move on with things. So here we've got the star. So this is all about our hopes and our dreams, our desires, is the seeing the star here. So when we're seeing your commitment is being tested, and we're seeing the star in the reverse position too, this is telling me here that you have been off track a few times in regards to your goals. So the star is someone who's okay with being vulnerable. She's okay to really just let her desires be shown to the world, her goals. She's not ashamed of what she really wants to do. So this tells me that some of you might be feeling like you're embarrassed about what you truly want to do, and that you're not going to share it with others. So when we start sharing what we really want to do with others and making that like, yeah, I'm going for this job, or I'm going to go off and I'm going to take that course of study. Yeah, I'm doing that. And I'm not ashamed of it. Because when we're ashamed of what we want, it means we're not speaking it on a daily basis. We're not manifesting those goals on a daily basis. So the star, this woman here, she's unashamedly naked, and there you can see the cups here, how she's completely refilling her cup all the time of her dreams. She's constantly putting that emotional effort into it as well. So that anything that we truly want to do does take that commitment, the emotional commitment. We've got to be unafraid of it as well, unafraid of what we truly want in our lives. So that's really important to see. Now here I've got the Six of Cups in the reverse position. So the Six of Cups is all about that childlike enjoyment. Are you enjoying what you're doing, or are you just doing something every single day just to pay the bills? It's just getting you by. The work you're doing is just getting you by. You're putting off your happiness. You're putting off the things you truly want. So this is about remembering what we wanted as children. So when I see it in the reverse position, it tells me here that you guys might have been really forgotten what it's like to have those dreams, and be okay with having those dreams. Be okay with taking those steps forward to achieve those dreams as well. And it's like, I feel like some of you have just been holding tightly onto it and making it a big secret. And it's like, well, yeah, I didn't do it when I was young enough to do it. I'm too old now to go for this. I'm too old. Time has passed me by. And it's telling me here that you guys aren't too old to go for what you want. It really, age is just a number. I'm really feeling like with this particular reading that some of you think that your time has passed, and that it's just like, oh, I'm just going to be doing what's expected. I'm just going to be doing what's normal. So that's interesting to see there. So anything we truly want to do takes commitment, takes effort. And sometimes we can get so comfortable in the normal, so comfortable in just doing what's expected of us. But here we've got the Queen of Wands here. So the Queen of Wands is someone who's incredibly creative, someone who has really worked on herself as well. And she is aware of her shadow self. She is aware of who she is as a person. She's unafraid to go for her dreams. She's someone who is just there manifesting what she wants, and she just makes it happen for herself. She doesn't wait for the platter to be handed to her. She goes and she actually does it, and she knows what to do in order to achieve those goals as well. So she's incredibly someone who's inspirational as well. She takes care of herself. She's someone who really is aware of her physical well-being, her emotional well-being, and she is someone who can just create a magic for herself. So that's the Queen of Wands there. So that tells me that a lot of you have the ability to shape the life you really want for yourselves, and that you can achieve it. The Two of Pentacles here in the reverse position is telling me here that there's a need to be a lot more flexible in your life, and to really just loosen the reins on the purse strings as well. So don't be afraid to spend a little money if you need to make some things happen for yourself. It might be that you need to do that this month in order to propel a couple of things forward for yourself. So especially investing in oneself. I really feel like in this card too. I'm also feeling like juggling is a lot happening here too. So that tells me that very much these two cards are very similar in that you're juggling a lot of decisions around, and you're really just, you haven't landed on something yet. So it's time to land on something as well. So that's really important here, that you're feeling overwhelmed. You're like, oh, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this. It's time to get serious and land on something and stick to it as well. So having that sticking power, we've got here the commitment is being tested. So choose something and stick to it. And just, if you're feeling really overwhelmed, just take it one step at a time. Sometimes it's really what it comes down to is having that emotional commitment, holding on to the dream, holding on to what it is that you want to focus on, not being overwhelming yourself with too much stuff as well, and really being strategic when it comes here to as well with this card here. And realizing what's not for you as well, and just releasing the stuff that you don't need to take with you, and being very, very strategic in your steps going forward. Realizing sometimes all it is the first step is realizing what is not for you first. So once we know what we don't want in our lives, we can get rid of that and go, yep, fresh start, clean slate as well. And then keeping the stuff that you do want and working with that in order to move forward, and making room for what it is that you want to come into your life as well. So that's it for the clear quartz reading. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you are able to get some nice clear insight from that, and you're able to make some really good clear decisions with moving forward with what you want to introduce into your life. So thank you so much, and I shall talk to you soon.